I'm Sam, and today we're going to discuss the power of technological espionage, intercompany crisis management, and the importance of evidence-based process within a company. To illustrate these concepts, we've examined the case study of Renault's supposed cyber intelligence leak, and more specifically how Renault chose to deal with the situation. So to do this, I'm going to present a general overview, an introduction, and analysis of the problems within the case study. Then Brooke and Tamara are going to divulge into the theoretical underpinnings, and then Michael is going to summarize and present the key findings of the case study. So in 2011, the French car company Renault declared that they were victims of cyber espionage due to a declared leak of critical intelligence regarding the planning of an electric vehicle. Like many markets, the market for new innovative technologies, such as electric cars, is a highly competitive market. At the time, electric vehicle production was very much in a growing industry, though 6 years later, in 2017, global sales had surpassed 1 million units. So it is of no surprise that an intelligence leak demonstrated to Renault a potential loss of competitive advantage. In response to this, Renault decided to deal with the situation internally, and based on misleading evidence, 3 executives in Renault were dismissed from the company. Despite this, Renault's chairman at the time, Carlos Ghosn, claimed that Renault had followed the due process of the company by saying, "My priority is to protect the Renault Group, our assets, and our intellectual property." It was soon revealed that the 3 dismissed executives were completely innocent in the supposed leaks, leaving Renault red-faced and forced to scramble for settlements with the 3 dismissed employees. So what problems arise in this given case study, and why do they exist? So firstly, Renault did not utilize available national or governmental security and counter-espionage options and decided to keep the matter internally dealt with. When the 3 employees were initially fired by Renault, it caused the then Prime Minister of France, Nicolas Sarkozy, to declare France was subject of an economic war due to the belief that China was involved in the leak of intelligence. Renault decided, however, initially to not incorporate French national counter-espionage, but to use private investigators. The utilization of intelligence equipped to deal with espionage on a national level should have clearly been used, since the supposed espionage was viewed to have had international implications between France and China. Government officials and French security services was only informed of the situation after the 3 executives had been dismissed from the company. So this leads to the second problem that arises from this case study of how easily organizations can leap to conclusions and ignore due process in making decisions. In the case of Renault, false accusations were made far too quickly based on information which lacks an evidence-based approach. Despite, as previously mentioned, that Mr. Ghosn claimed Renault had stuck to a company process throughout the investigation, clearly there was not enough oversight. Renault placed themselves as a judge, jury, and executioner with very little consultation, and did not apply stringently enough the concept of innocent until proven guilty, which clearly was required to be implemented. This case study also clearly demonstrates a lack of focus from Renault. Clearly, Renault prioritized the recuperation of its leaked information and competitive advantage above an ethical, fair trial by the dismissed employees, regardless of whether company policy was adhered to. And regardless of whether the company policy was adhered to, it was neglected in the process of the 3 executives being escorted out of the Renault building. So now that the case study has been introduced and the key problems have been identified, I'd like to hand it over to Brooke, who will discuss the theoretical underpinnings of this case study.